According to Pew Research Center, 47% of Americans say dating is harder now than it was a decade ago. But you do not need a survey to know that. You saw one gray typing bubble appear, watched it disappear, turned your phone face down, picked it back up, and treated one dry reply like it was evidence in court. And here's the strange part. You were not being dramatic. You were not being needy. You were not imagining the pattern. Because breadcrumbing does not usually look cruel at first. It looks small. A message here, a compliment there, a sudden warm voice note right when you were almost done caring. Just enough to make you sit back down at a table where no real meal has ever arrived. Over the next 8 minutes, you will understand why secure people do not panic when someone gives them crumbs, why they do not turn mixed signals into a love story, and how they ask for clarity without begging for it. And if this already feels too familiar, press the button below like you are placing your phone back on the table. Not for me, for the part of you that is tired of checking. But why does one tiny message feel stronger than a whole honest conversation?
You were not always like this. There was a time you were the one who replied first, made the plan, and gave people the cleanest possible explanation for hurting you. You became the translator, the calendar, the emotional ambulance. You explained their silence. You remembered their stress. You adjusted your needs so the connection would not feel heavy for them. You told yourself you were patient, but a lot of the time you were just scared to ask for normal effort. So when someone finally sent a sweet message after pulling away, your whole body treated it like relief. You did not just read the words. You felt your stomach loosen. You felt your mood lift. You felt the chair at that empty table get pulled out again. And one day, you did not pick up the phone, and the world did not end. It got quieter. B.F. Skinner, the Harvard psychologist, showed how unpredictable rewards can keep a behavior going harder than predictable rewards. Simple translation: when affection arrives randomly, your brain starts waiting for the next drop. Not because the person is amazing, because the pattern is powerful. That is why secure people look different in this situation. They are not immune to attraction. They're not made of stone. They have simply learned to ask one question before they get attached to the feeling. What is this person actually doing? So, if the pull is real, how does a secure person stay steady when the screen lights up?
First, secure people notice the tiny reply. You send something warm, they answer with one flat word. You tell yourself, maybe they're busy, maybe they are stressed, maybe you wrote too much. But actually, a secure person is watching the pattern, not judging one message. One dry reply is life. Repeated dry replies after warm moments are information. The cost is that you stop decorating empty plates. You may lose the fantasy before it has time to become a full movie in your head. Second, secure people listen to the body. Their name appears on your screen and your shoulders rise before you even open the chat. You call it chemistry. You call it excitement. But actually, your body may be bracing for confusion. Secure people do not confuse anxiety with romance just because both can make the chest feel loud. The cost is uncomfortable. Healthy attention can feel boring at first when your nervous system is used to guessing. Third, secure people do not treat a sudden warm message as proof. Someone disappears, then comes back with sweetness. They say they miss your energy. They send a photo. They act like nothing happened. You tell yourself, see, they do care. But actually, caring is not the same as being available. A person can enjoy your presence and still not be willing to build anything stable with you. The cost is that you have to stop using rare warmth as evidence. You have to look at the whole table, not the one crumb that landed near your hand.
Stop. Before we go further, everything you have heard so far is not a compliment in pretty packaging. These are real adaptations of your psyche. If you learned to survive on inconsistency, consistency can feel suspicious. If you learned to chase, being met halfway can feel unfamiliar. Fourth, secure people ask without performing. You come home from a normal date and feel drained because for them it was just hanging out. For you, it was reading tone, measuring distance, holding back questions, choosing words that would not scare them off. You tell yourself, I really like them, that is why I am tired. But actually, you may be working for a connection that should be meeting you back. The cost is that secure love asks you to stop auditioning. And if you have spent a long time proving your value, not auditioning can feel almost rude. Fifth, secure people let the response count. They say, I like talking to you, but I need more consistency to feel good here. I am not asking you to become someone else. I just want to know if we want the same kind of connection. Then they stop. They do not rescue the other person from the silence. They do not add 5 softeners. They do not turn their need into a joke. Because the answer is not only in the words, it's in whether the other person can stay present when clarity enters the room. The cost is that you cannot keep negotiating with data. If they dodge, blame you, flirt to change the subject, or disappear again, that is not a mystery. That is your answer. But here's where it gets complicated. The same clarity that protects you can also scare you.
But here is where it gets complicated. A secure person is not someone who never gets attached. They can like the person. They can miss the message. They can feel the little drop in the stomach when the chat stays quiet. The difference is that they do not hand over the steering wheel just because their feelings got loud. They can say, I care, and still not chase. I am disappointed and still not beg. I wanted this and still not pretend the table is full. That sounds simple until you try it with someone you really wanted. Because walking away from inconsistency does not always feel powerful. Sometimes it feels like withdrawal. Sometimes you will want to reopen the chat just to check if they watched your story. Sometimes your brain will offer you one more excuse, one more maybe, one more version where they finally understand what they are losing. That is the dark side. Secure behavior can feel cold when you're used to earning warmth. Standards can feel like loss when chaos used to feel like connection. So here's the reframe. Breadcrumbing is attention without responsibility. Consistency is interest with follow-through. This is not only for people dating avoidance, it's for anyone who has confused being chosen occasionally with being valued fully. It's for anyone who has stayed at the table because the person kept walking past with a plate, smiling like something was coming. And here's what nobody tells you about leaving a table that almost fed you.
If you are watching this and wondering if something is wrong with you, hear me. You are not too sensitive. You are not hard to love. You are not broken because a tiny message could pull you back in. You are someone whose nervous system learned to count crumbs because full meals were rare. And now you are learning something new. Connection should not require you to shrink, chase, decode, and wait with your phone in your hand. The Harvard study of adult development has followed lives for more than 85 years, and the main finding is simple. The good life is not built by collecting the most people. It is built through relationships that are warm, reliable, and real. So if your circle got smaller, but your body got calmer, you are not failing at love. If you stopped answering people who only reach for you when they are bored, you are not being cruel. If you asked for clarity and the connection fell apart, you did not ruin it, you revealed it. A secure person does not need to punish the breadcrumber. They do not need to win. They do not need the final dramatic message. They simply stand up, push the chair back, and stop calling crumbs a meal. If someone wants access to you,
They can bring consistency. If they cannot, they can keep walking. Leave the crumbs. If this gave you the permission you did not know you needed, press the button below, whose name I will not even say. You know which one. And write one word in the comments. What do you feel right now?